Welcome back everyone. In today's video, we'll be taking a much closer look at the most recent Vintage Collection Wave offering. If you're new to the channel or a fan of Star Wars collecting, be sure to drop a like or comment down below, remember to subscribe, and make sure to ring that bell to stay notified. Upcoming videos will feature similar reviews and much more content focused on the Vintage Collection, so stay tuned. But with that said, let's move on with the video. So as you can see, I finally have the most recent Vintage Collection Wave, and I've got to say, this is an exceptional group of 375 offerings. If you take a look at the figures that are displayed here, we have a strong character selection with one very smart repack and a bunch of newly tooled figures with lots of accessories. Additionally, what's really nice to see is that we have figures from current media. Kenobi has just finished up and we have figures for it. So that is great. It's really nice to see figures so soon. We're not having to wait like a year or two to get them. So that is something that I'm extremely excited about. Also, Hasbro did a really good job at deciding how many of these figures should be going within the case. Since Kenobi is so relevant, they went ahead and went with 2 Vaders, 2 Kenobis, and 2 Revas. Definitely a smart move since, the series just ended, and if you're in stores, you're probably going to be very happy to see some of these figures. So I'm definitely happy with that decision. And they went ahead and made sure to only do one of the Anakin repacks, so that's definitely good. Many collectors probably already have that, but there is sadly only one Mandalorian Super Commando in the box, which is definitely going to be challenging if you're trying to find this one in store, since that's a very popular figure, but I'm sure there's going to be multiple production runs. I know I ordered 4 cases, which are currently on the way. Can't wait to do a video on that, and yeah, that's just a good figure, and I'm pretty sure you will definitely be able to find one. So all in all, this is a really good selection, and let's move on to looking at one of these figures. In here we have Darth Vader, The Dark Times, on a lovely Obi-Wan Kenobi card with a fantastic image of him from the series. Definitely an emotionally charged scene when he finally confronts Kenobi for their first lightsaber battle. Really love this image. That was definitely a fantastic episode, so this is a very appropriate image to use for Darth Vader. So good stuff. Love he has an ignited saber. I'm always a fan of saber wielders having their weapon out on their cards. Looking really good with that Kenner logo just popping with all that darkness and just like black tones down below. Really good stuff. Oh my gosh, that sky background as well, that gradient is just, everything about this card is just really nice. The figure itself, also really good. Love this yellow name pill color. It just really pops. And there's nothing better than seeing a fantastic figure with lots of really cool accessories. So you have interchangeable hands, an unlit saber, of course his saber, soft goods, just looking really good. Fantastic stuff. On the back, he is VC 241 in the line, and you can see this recent wave, which, wow, what a selection of characters, and you can see 2 figures from the upcoming wave, as well as the Boba Fett from Morak, which is a Target exclusive, also soon to come, so really good stuff here. And I just gotta say that this Vader card and figure just looks so good. It's really nice to finally have a very definitive Darth Vader, and let's get this one open and take a closer look. And here is Darth Vader, The Dark Times, out of the package, and I've got to say that this is my first time seeing this and holding it out of the package, and it is absolutely a stunning figure. This is a 10 out of 10 representation of Darth Vader in the 3.75 Star Wars universe. This is just absolutely perfect. And I've got to say, it just poses perfectly. The rocker ankles, everything about this figure is just great when it comes to articulation and detail. The cape is done so well. It is able to drape in a variety of different ways, and just, yeah, man, this is absolutely perfect. I used to be a big fan of the 3.75 Black Series Vader, the one in the blue box. It was the best Vader that we had up until this, but man, they have just done such a good job with this figure. It is absolutely fantastic. I just can't go over it. The bottom soft goods are also, not too big. That was always a problem with Vader. I feel like soft goods were just too large and overdone, but this is pretty big, but it just drapes, it's cut so well. I don't know, something about it. But taking a closer look at the helmet, looks really nice. You can kind of see the darker red on his eyes. I just love that feature in the early Vader. So that looks really good. All the paint applications on his armor and just like belt just look really nice. Soft plastic here so it doesn't hinder any movement. Same thing up here, so he can get a really nice range of motion. Here you can see that the swivel and hinge at the wrist allows Vader to perform a two-handed grip very well and is very iconic of the way he duels with a lightsaber. So I'm very happy that, you can just perform that two-handed grip with ease and there's no hindering of just like his fighting stances. So that's a really nice quality to this figure. And once again, the cape just drapes over his arms very well, making all these fighting scenes like very, very enjoyable to set up. So all fantastic stuff. I really like what's going on here. Taking a quick look at the neck articulation, I just wanted to show you that Vader is able to move his head in a variety of different angles, allowing for great posing. Just like the expressions that Vader does with his helmet and just tilting of his head are very iconic things. So I'm really happy that this figure is able to move its head effortlessly, and that's just really nice to see. Moving on and taking a look at the accessories, you can see the swappable hands that Vader comes with. These are actually very easy to remove and you don't have to worry about breaking a peg or anything. So they fit in nice and it's just really nice to get separate hands added to a figure, allowing him to do a variety of dynamic poses. And here you can see I have Vader in one of his classic force choking stances, just taking care of anyone who stands in his way. So really nice that we're getting separate hands now in the vintage collection. I think that's something that a lot of us have wanted to see, and it's great. Just allows us to display our figures in lots of different ways. He's got the new ball jointed hips, which allow him to pose very well, not to mention rocker ankles, which just won't stop him from doing anything. Taking one last look at the figure, you just have to admire all the detail that Hasbro put into giving us such a definitive Vader, and I really hope that this Vader can lead to versions of Return of the Jedi and proper Empire Strikes Back version, because we really need to get those into the vintage collection as well. And this is just such a good start to definitive Vaders in 3.75. And here we have one that I'm extremely excited to have, and it is the Mandalorian Super Commando on a Clone Wars card. A lovely image of the character from Season 5 when Pre Vizsla and Maul attempt to overthrow Duchess Satine on Mandalore, and Obi-Wan later has to come to her rescue. So definitely a really nice card. I like this image. It's got some nice blue and green tones, and just the red of that armor really contrast well. You got a nice image of the character holding his rifle in a dynamic pose, and the name pill color is a nice lime green, which really allows the figure to pop on that bubble. You got the Kenner logo down below, Clone Wars logo. Nothing can be better than this. Moving on to the back, he is VC 243 in the line. And like I said, this will make a lovely addition to your Clone Wars carded collection. I also have about 4 cases of these currently on the way. I can't wait to open them up, put them together with Darth Maul on my throne of Mandalore, and just recreate some of those awesome scenes. I also have the other Death Watch Airborne Commandos coming. Can't wait to get those and also set them up in a nice dynamic battle like we saw at the end of Clone Wars Season 7. And here we have the figure out of the package, and the first thing that has to be noticed is that the paint applications on this figure are done very nicely. We have some nice clean lines and detail all over his helmet. All of these chrome little battle marks really shine well in lighting, so it just really brings this figure to life. Moving further down, you can see that his shin guards and knee pads have some really nice battle damage on them, just making them look weathered and aged, like he's had this armor for a while. So that's really nice stuff. Moving on to the back, you can see his jetpack is a lot more plain. There's not much going on here. It would have been nice if maybe they accented certain parts with the same chrome from his helmet, or maybe just a little bit more red on there, something to like bring it a little bit more to life. But overall, I still think it looks pretty good. It's got a little red detailing there, and just overall, it's a similar jetpack that we've been seeing with our other Death Watch Mandalorians. Moving on, you can see his gauntlet is another just like plain chrome color, similar to the helmet. Pretty good stuff there. Would have been nice to have, you know, a red accent as well. Over here, he's got a new type of gauntlet, which I don't think we've seen before. It's much more simplified. Also, just a plain chrome color, which is not too bad. I really like that they used a different gray tone for his holster and ammo belts. I think that looks really nice, and just everything, all in all, is a really nice color palette and just like brings this figure to life. It's really a nice one to have displayed in your collection. And as you can see, he grips the weapons very well in a nice dynamic pose. So that looks really good. I'm glad, you know, it's pretty nice and snug in there. And you can take his blaster pistol and put it into the holster just like so. And it fits in there very nice and snug. So always good to see, and always nice to have your accessories be put somewhere where you won't lose them. And as you can see, the hinges at the wrist and nice soft armor plastic do not hinder the figure whatsoever, allowing him to place his rifle up high in a sniper position that looks both dynamic and realistic. So the one thing about the weapons that I don't really like is that they could have used some weathering or just a different paint application. I think the promo images had them using the darker chrome color that you see on his helmet and gauntlets, and I kind of think that would have looked a bit better. I think that's something that doesn't really take away from the figure. I can easily like paint these or just add something to them. But yeah, I think that's the only thing. It's just a bit of a light gray. I don't know. But like I said, it doesn't really take away from the figure. Taking a moment to analyze this figure and its armor, I think we pretty much have everything we need to get an updated Jango Fett in the vintage collection. It seems like the only thing Hasbro would have to do is give Jango his unique holster and belts, and also use some of the parts from our VC 186 Boba Fett, and we would definitely have a definitive updated Jango Fett for the vintage collection. So hopefully we will be seeing that sometime soon. And here we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, Wandering Jedi, a fantastic carded release for the Kenobi series. A nice image of Obi-Wan here undercover in Daiyu, looking very mysterious. Really like that episode and planet. I love anything with lots of storefronts and neon lights, just very underground and gritty. So that was a really enjoyable episode, and it's fantastic that we got a figure of Kenobi from that episode. Taking a closer look at the figure, he looks fantastic on this aqua name pill color. It looks really good, brings all those blue lights to life, and really interacts well with nice warm tones that are reflecting off Obi-Wan's face. Also, you just have to point out how fantastic it is that this figure comes with a variety of accessories. He comes with his blaster pistol, lightsaber, an unlit lightsaber, and 2 versions of Lola. So that is really nice stuff. On the back, he is VC 245 in the line. All in all, a fantastic vintage collection offering that's worthy of display in your carded collection. I've got to say that I really like this card. It might be my favorite out of the wave. It's a tough race between this one and the Mandalorian, just because I like the Clone Wars so much, and that Mandalorian card looks really good, but I really like this image of Obi-Wan, so definitely one that you should consider picking up. And here you have the figure out of the package, and I gotta say that this figure is really nice. The soft goods are a very nice material that has a decent cut. Nothing is too obtrusive. Usually with soft goods, it's very difficult to do them in this scale, and they've done a wonderful job here. The sleeves are not too baggy or too cumbersome. All the stitching is like as minimal as they possibly could get it, and I just think it looks pretty good. I think it's probably my favorite soft goods we've ever gotten in the vintage collection. Just something about it fits very well. The hood is a nice size, it's not too big. The only thing I did was put actually a little bit of tack back here, just like Gorilla Tack, to just like keep it on a little better, but that was just my own personal preference. It does fit on there pretty nice without the tack, but I just wanted it to fit on there a little better. And here you can see I've removed the tack, and the hood still places on very nicely. So just a personal preference thing. Taking a closer look at the face sculpt, it is done very well. There's some nice sculpting here, just like lots of detail on his hair and beard, and the paint application is done well. He doesn't have any crazy crooked eyes or anything like that, so A+ job here. And here we have the figure without the robe. Instantly you can see some nice sculpting that Hasbro's done here, showing the folds in his sleeves and also around the collar area. So that's some really nice work there. He's got all the articulation you will need to do a variety of different poses. He's also got this split at the chest, which I know some people are not the biggest fan of, but I don't think it bothers me, and I don't really think it takes away from the figure whatsoever. And if we're getting a little more articulation out of it, I'm all here for it. He's also got the updated hips that we're basically just seeing now on all Vintage Collection figures, and the rocker ankles. So he will be able to do all the posing that you need him to do. Taking a closer look at the holster, you can see it's molded of a nice plastic and has some nice detailing on it. And it also fits the blaster in there very nice and snug. So you will not have to worry about losing that. Moving over here, you can see he's got a nice peg for his unlit lightsaber, similar to Vader, so that he can keep his weapon by his side when he needs it. And here you can see him displayed with one of the 2 Lola accessories that come in the package. This is the one that actually has the legs, which are articulated. And I saw online that they can be removed, allowing you to see this tiny little peg hole that is a place for him to put his thumb and allow him to hold this better. So that is actually really cool stuff. This is such a small accessory. It's just so crazy that they were able to actually add like this articulation on there as well due to that little ball joint. So definitely kind of cool. Also really impressive that Lola's wings do kind of move. I mean, they're not the most articulated things in the world, but that's pretty crazy at this scale, and definitely hard to see, but there's some nice detailing in there as well. So definitely a really nice accessory, and I'm very happy that they gave it to us. And here we have the second Lola accessory on this nice little clear stand, making it look like it's floating or flying. And of course, Obi-Wan comes with his lightsaber, which is very accurate to what we saw on screen. It's got some really nice paint applications on it, and it just overall looks great. And once again, I have to thank Hasbro for getting us this figure in a timely manner. It's definitely nice to be getting Vintage Collection offerings so close to when a show has aired. And here we have our final Kenobi offering, and it is third sister, better known as Reva. Here we have a nice image of her on Tatooine, hunting down some Jedi. I think it would have been cool if the saber was ignited. You know, it's a pretty good image, but when you've got a saber in hand, it's always good to have that pop of color to just really, liven up the card image. But regardless, still is pretty good. Got a nice red name pill color. Figure looks pretty good on there. Lots of accessories, really like that. And on the back, she is VC 242 in the line. So all in all, a great figure and card. It's really nice to finally get some Inquisitors into the Vintage Collection. Reva is a great first start to that. We're going to need the Grand Inquisitor, of course, and hopefully we can see more of those characters from Rebels, and hopefully see more Inquisitors in the line. Taking a look at the figure, you can see some really nice sculpting on the armor and just all the attention to the detail that went into this figure. She's got some really nice detail as well on her hair and braids. The saber looks fantastic. She's got all the articulation you will need to create some dynamic poses. Updated hips, rocker ankles, all sorts of ball joints that just allow her to do the things that Inquisitors do and just hunt down those roaming Jedi. So really nice stuff. Taking a look at the back, you can see her soft goods, which look really nice. I am very happy that we got soft goods as opposed to those terrible, plastic capes that I don't think anyone really likes. So really nice stuff. Taking a closer look at the face sculpt, you can see Hasbro has done a remarkable job at capturing this likeness. This looks absolutely like the actress we saw on screen, and I just gotta say that Hasbro continues to knock it out of the park when it comes to these face sculpts. Taking a closer look at the accessories, you can see that she comes with her Inquisitor blade that has been detached into the 2 separate pieces. Very nice to get that. It also allows us to recreate that scene when she battles Vader. And lastly, she comes with her saber unlit, which is always a nice accessory to get. Sometimes you want to display your Inquisitors or Jedi with their sabers unlit, so nice to get, and it also clips into the side of her belt. I always like having this option when displaying my figures. And lastly, we have Anakin Skywalker Padawan on an Attack of the Clones card. A pretty decent image of Anakin there. I feel like there's a lot of different battles and stuff they could have chose when it comes to Attack of the Clones imagery, but they went with this. It's not the worst. The figure itself is one that needed to get in the vintage collection, so definitely cool that they finally brought this into the vintage collection, got it on a card, and this figure is now available to people who may not have had it before. On the back, he is VC 244 in the line. And all in all, a pretty decent figure to add to your Attack of the Clones carded collection. This figure was originally released in the Black Series 3.75 line, but did not have the Jedi cloak. So this is the first time we're seeing it. It's a pretty decent robe, I kind of like it. I did put some tack on there to like kind of weigh it down and just like keep it closer to his body. I still don't think that this cloak is perfect. It kind of is just a weird design, so you may have some issues when displaying this, but I use the tack and I think it looks pretty good. Other than that, this figure has a lot of articulation that was ahead of its time. It doesn't have the updated hips that we're getting these days, but it does have rocker ankles and ball jointed knees, everything that allows you to do Jedi poses and some good lightsaber battling. And there you have it, another excellent wave of 3.75 Star Wars figures. I hope you've enjoyed this video and taking a look at the latest wave of vintage collection figures. Feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you on the next video.